.900, the Major League record 12 straight hits. That's been done twice. Bip Roberts set a streak going into Tuesday night's doubleheader with Houston. Monday night, he got a break when he flew out at his first at-bat. It would have ended his string, but the game wiped out after rain postponed the game in the 4th inning. Bip sat out Game 1. In Game 2, brought his 6 straight hits into the contest. And in the bottom of the 1st, facing Shane Reynolds. That's a double, 7 consecutive hits. He's been using all of the field, and in the bottom of the 3rd, make it 8 consecutive hits. He's driven up his batting average, bottom of the 5th, a ground rule double. 9 consecutive hits, 1 shy of the National League record. This scores Dave Martinez, but Bip was removed by Lou Piniella prior to the 7th inning because he re-aggravated a sore right ankle, but the string is intact. The Reds did win their 6th straight. Scott 3, Barry Larkin had 3 hits in
3-hour rain delay. Rick Sutcliffe pitching on 3 days rest. Leading off the game, Devon White to right field, and forget about it. His 17th of the year, and the Jays had a 1-0 lead. It was even at 1. We move on to the 4th. You've got to see how far John Olerud hits this pitch. Off of Sutcliffe. What a shot. No ballpark would hold this. This is one of the deeper home runs hit in Camden Yards. Sutcliffe would leave the game with back spasms. Late night, wake up, lady. Her glasses fell off as she hit her head. The O's hit their head, bounced back, got to within 4-3, bottom of the 8th. Cal Ripken, the ground ball to 3rd. Gruber comes home. They have Brady Anderson caught in the rundown, tagged out by Ed Sprague to the 9th. Runners at the corners. Mark McLemore against Tom Hankey. Fly ball to center field. There's Devo. Tim Hewitt coming home, and they stop him. Don't know if it was Hewitt on his own or Cal Ripken Sr., the 3rd base coach. In any case, the last batter would pop out to short. That would be Mike Devereaux, failing with the bases loaded. That's a rare statement. He's been dominant with the bases loaded. And the Rangers. Jose Canseco not in the lineup on Tuesday night. First inning, no one had some good stuff. Getting Shane Mack frozen with the curve. Top of the 6th, no score. Kirby Puckett, chance to put the Twins on top, but Ryan spots the black. Nolan would leave after pitching well. 4 hits over 6. John Smiley also pitched well. Freezing Pudge Rodriguez, delayed call. Talk about delayed. Runs were delayed. Scoreless through 12. 2 outs in the 13th. Pedro Munoz, the opposite field single. Kirby coming around. He'll beat the throw and score. The only run of the game. Kirby had 3 hits as the Twins win 1-0, so they kind of
for. He wasn't about to let a game with St. Louis bug him. He went 1 for 4, has yet to win a batting title in his career. Bottom of the 2nd, Bonds is at 2nd. Jeff King back up the middle. That scores a run. King with a couple of hits. Pirates a 1-0 lead. Danny Jackson facing Luis Alicea. That single scores 2. Alicea drove in 3. The Cards had a 3-1 lead, but tied up at 4 in the 6th. Craig Wilson with a hot shot that King can't stay with. Tracy Woodson is in. It's a 5-4 Cardinal lead. Danny Jackson whining all night, doing more whining than Michael Bolton. Bottom of the 9th, 2 out. Dave Clark with a deep fly to right. Felix Jose on the run and has to stretch, but pulls it in. And the Cards take it 5-4. They've won just 3 of the 18 meetings between these two teams. 10 straight hits against Pedro Estacio the opening inning, and he drops it in there with 2 strikes. Delivers to tie the National League record, 12 straight hits, the Major League record. So Bip going for more in the 3rd. That's ball 4. That ends the pure hit streak. First walk during the streak. Top of the 5th. Roberts with a grounder back to Estacio, who throws him out, and that stops his hit string. And then in the 7th inning, back up there with Tim Pugh on first. Roberts with a smash. Lenny Harris plays it well to Offerman, and hustling into first. Roberts was okay. He was thrown out. Bip 1 for 4 as the Reds take the Dodgers. Tim Pugh and Rob Dibble hook up on a 5-hitter. Jeff Martinez and Tim Wakefield pitched well and saw some great defense. Spike Owen was going to second to cover on a steal, had to recover, and does to throw out Mike LaValliere. Help this time from Larry Walker. Wakefield thought he had a base hit, but alertly, Walker throws him out at first. No score, go to extra innings. Pirates take a 1-0 lead in the 11th. Bottom half, John Vanderwall lines a double to left, scoring Moises Alou. The game tied at 1-all. In the 14th, Delino DeShields led off the inning with a triple. Felipe telling the 3rd base coach, unless it's hit through, don't send him. And after a walk, had runners at the corners. Grissom, the bouncer, to lean. They get the out. DeShields does not score, and it looked like a missed opportunity for Alou. But after another walk, loaded the bases, Moises hits one up, out, and gone. A grand slam home run to give the Expos a dramatic 5-1 victory, and it's worth another look because Moises stops and takes a look. He wanted to make sure it was fair, and it was gone, and it was. And the Expos win it in 14. Dennis Martinez went 9 innings, allowing just 2 hits and no runs at your stadium. Jose Offerman facing Bobby Ayala. And he lines the double down the first base line. Offerman batting leadoff. Brett Butler had a couple of hits behind him. Hansen is in 4-0 Dodgers. But in the 7th, the Reds explode. And Biff Roberts, pinch hitting, slices a triple, 2-run score. Barry Larkin, one of those. He had a couple of hits. The Reds go up 7-4. They add to it as Biff gets his 3-bagger, and 8-4 the final. Willie Green also a 2-run triple in the 6-run 7th inning. The Reds moved to within 5.5 games of Atlanta. Tom Bolton the win. Norm Charlton.
Cubs leading 2-1. That's Juan Bell at the plate against Paul Ossenbacher. It's a high drive. Derek May's going to go back, way back, and they misplayed it. Oh, boy, they're going to start running. George Bell's little brother Juan on his horse and in the park homer, and the Cubs lead is cut from 2-1. We're tied. In the 10th, Dave Hollins gets hit for the 2nd time in this game by Bob Scanlon. Let's get ready to rumble. Not much of a fight. Looked like a block thrown by Hollins, who leads the National League. He's been hit 18 times. All the scuffling and the proverbial ejections. Jim Lefevre unhappy because, well, one guy was ejected and his guy wasn't.
And the Brewers game tied at 1 in the 6th. Greg Vaughn takes Ron Darling out to left for a homer, putting the Brewers on top by a score of 2-1. Top of the 7th, Walt Weiss drives one to left. But Vaughn, look at that great catch. It's still 2-1 in the 8th. Mike Fetters to Ruben Sierra. He drives one to right. It's Darryl Hamilton's turn this time to make a great catch. 2 out in the 9th. Pet Lestache. Not a bad catch to end the game. Doug Henry came on to get the save. The Brewers win again. 2-1. Make that 5 wins in a row now for the Brew Crew. Their hot streak continues. They've won 13 of their last 15. Happens the Brewers trail by 2 games in the loss column. The A's have at least runners on first and second. Gary Sheffield, the fly to left. He's not going to add to his RBI total. He was 0 for 4 last night. Padres only 3 hits. One reason, great defense from Ron Gant, robbing Darren Jackson. But you think Darren Jackson remembered that? He's out in the field, and it's his turn to rob Brian Hunter. Not a bad snatch at the wall, stealing a home run. Top of the 10th, tied at 1-1. Lonnie Smith, the single, up the middle. Off Gene Harris, Jeff Blauser comes on home. Just beats Jackson's throw at the plate. The Braves win 2-1. It's only the 4th win in 12 games for the Braves. Lonnie Smith drove in both of the Braves'
The Pirates, the remarkable Pirates. Just as 22 years ago they had the chance to clinch the East against the Mets, so they do again. Gary Reedus makes it 3-zip in the 5th. Jay Bell off Pete Shurek. 4-1 Bucks in the 9th. Mets have threatened to the 8th, and again here. And look at Jose Leaned. If you vote for the Gold Glove and you don't vote for Jose, may you not get any sleep next year. Wow. The often maligned Stan Belinda was the next star. He is Stan the Man in the 9th. Gets Jeff McKnight on the outside corner, and the Bucks start to celebrate. First three-peater in the NL since the Phillies of 76, 77, and 78. The amazing Pirates set the league record, their 9th divisional title in the 24 years since the divisions began. After his 3rd straight title was in the bag, 40% of the worry lines vanished from the face of Buck skipper Jim Leyland.
Our scouts have made great decisions on who we should pick up, who we can afford, which is very much of a factor here. This is not just this group in the clubhouse. This is the Pittsburgh private organization, and I'm awful proud of this organization, and that's why I stayed here.
He brought me here, and and I always thank him for that. And the way I was throwing the ball today, he could very easily took me out of that game. And the biggest throw for a pitcher is to be on that mound whenever the last out's made.
Stan Belinda talking about the man who might have been the Pirates' most valuable player, Jim Leyland. The Pirates' stats continue to amaze. This is the only team in the NL that's been over 500 each year in the 90s. 18 different guys have won games for them this year, tops and the bigs. They're leading the majors with a .647 winning percentage since the break, and they hit when it counts. It's called a team. As to which is the team in the West, the Braves and the Reds. Well, sports.
McGuire. Brewers led it 1-0 in the second, make that 1-1, 41st on the year. This one off Navarro. Robin runs out of real estate. The A's were up 2-1 in the third. The Brewers have one on Vaughn. Gone. 2-run homer, 23rd on the year. This one off Kevin Campbell, and the Brewers led it 3-2. Well, Tony La Russa's squad down 5-3 in the eighth. 2 on, 2 out. He's getting ready to set up Randy Reddy because Navarro's being yanked for Jesse Orozco. He sends up Ricky Henderson instead. Strike one. Ricky's not happy with the call. The next pitch, he can't believe this one. Well, he's going to argue about this one. And Ricky, in the eighth inning, with 2 on, 2 outs, Ricky gets tossed. Take another look at the second pitch, and you can see why Ricky was upset. Ricky's got a small strike zone, gets a lot of gifts, but that was a bad call. La Russa says, all right, I batted 199 in 6 years in the majors. I'll get up there. Tony got tossed as well. As for the final, Oakland got tossed out of Milwaukee. They got swept. Milwaukee wins it 5-3. Navarro improves to 17-11. Navarro, Eldred, Bozzi, and 6'10" left-hander had a week's worth of Ks for some pitchers. First victim, Mr. Home Run King himself, Juan Gonzalez. Strikeout number 1. Brian Downing ends the first. Monty Ferris joined the club. Dean Palmer, the whiff. Ray Stevens, likewise, 5 Ks. In the third, Donald Harris, Major League pitching. Jack Doherty, freeze it. Brian Downing, he joins the club again. 8 Ks to end the third. In the fourth, Monty, welcome again. Ray Stevens, hello. Bottom of the fifth, Donald Harris again. Strikeout number 11. Chris Colon joins Harris. Jack Doherty, have a seat. In the sixth, Brian Downing again. Monty Ferris again. Pudge Rodriguez, come on, join the club. 16 Ks after 6 innings. Juan Gonzalez again. Monty Ferris, can't check it. 18 strikeouts. Game stats for you. Johnson, 8 innings pitched. He gave up 6 hits, 4 walks. The 18 Ks ties the American League record for left-hander. And he got no decision. By the way, the Mariners losing it by a final of 3-2.
Into a game. Giant Tomahawks are okay, though. The Sheffield watch continues. He nearly nails John Smoltz on the way to a single. In a moment, what he did in this game and how he stands for the Triple Crown. Pods leading 1-0, top of the ninth. Pendleton at first, 2 out. Brian Hunter facing Randy Myers. 3-2 pitch lined down the left field line. This ball game is going to be tied. And the Braves are very tough in bonus cantos. They produce in the 10th. Otis Nixon at second. Pendleton this time. And Jim Vatcher's throw is NG. 103 RBI for Pendleton as Otis scores. Braves win 2-1. Braves have now won 8 of the 10 extra inning games on the road this year. So the magic number is 2. Month's game at Candlestick before a really big lawsuit. Roger Craig and the Giants led onto the field by Will Clark, perhaps taking the field for the last time. And the starting pitcher, Marichal, Gaylord, Perry, Vita Blue, Larry Carter. Paul O'Neill trashes him in the 6th. And if it's over, who got the last visitor's hit at the stick? Rob Dibble did. And he wheedled his way out of bases-loaded jams in the 8th and 9th to preserve the Reds' victory. Royce Clayton got the last home hit. John Patterson the out there. Even on the premise that it was either it for big league ball in San Francisco or it was the last chance to show how much they want their Giants to stay and not move on to Tampa Bay. There were still 16,000 no-shows. Larry Carter retired Friday, farewelled in this one at the Big O. Bottom of the 7th, 0-0 game. Carter with a standing ovation. And with a base hit over Andre Dawson's head. Storybook fashion, the double. Walker scores the only run of the ball game. Gary Carter celebrates. 1-0 Expos. Cubs with 2 on versus John Wetland in the 8th inning. Andre Dawson couldn't do it. Rick Wilkins couldn't do it. John Wetland has been unhittable for the last half of the season on what amounts to Gary Carter Day in Montreal. The Expos beat the Cubbies 1-0. And by the way, if you hadn't noticed, the big...
Go to the Dome. Twins looking to avoid elimination and avoid the season ending in frustration. Sacks full of socks in a scoreless game in the 5th. Tim Raines up the middle past Pat Mahomes. 2 RBIs. Lance Johnson and Ron Karkovice make it 2-0. Next hitter, Frank Thomas. Big swing. Big result. Double off the plexiglass in left. Raines would score RBI 111 for Thomas. Sox up 3-0. Next batter, George Bell does his part in the inter-team battle for RBIs. Double scores Thomas. Bell's 110 RBI. 4-1 Sox, the onslaught rolls on. Tim Raines, season best 5 RBI, a 3-run shot there. Sox up 7-1. And after Thomas doubled, Bell back at bat, eye high, and you can kiss that goodbye. Bell takes the team lead in RBIs with 112, and Minnesota is done, officially eliminated. By the final score of Nitro, when the Twins lost, the celebration was on for the new West champs, who opened some Dom Perignon and celebrated.
Doing what we did this year, overcoming all the adversities that we overcome with injuries and change of scenery and everything, it's definitely going to be the most memorable of my career.
We're getting efforts from other guys. Ron Darling, Bob Welch, in the times when he's been unhealthy, has come back in the rotation. He's picked us up. And then the main man is Tony La Russa. Done probably the best job he ever has in managing a ball club.
Well, I'm going to have to send that nice shirt to the laundry. Tony says his favorite word is relentless, and he sees this team showing those relentless signs. Oakland wins the West, 4th time last 5 years. How was the West won? After the break, the A's won 60% at crunch time, dominating the division like no other team in baseball, and with a closer like no other team in baseball. Oakland back to the playoffs. The turning point of this Oakland season later.